Today's lesson is going to be about graphing piecewise functions. So obviously we're going to be graphing lines. So if you look at the function f of x, that means it's going to be a function. One input has exactly one output. Piecewise, piece means there's going to be multiple pieces to the function. Okay, so we're going to be graphing piecewise functions. So whenever we graph, remember we can use y equals mx plus b. We can use x and y intercepts, and we can use t-charts, okay, or tables, right? So we have all three of those different options in order to graph. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look at where the graph changes pieces. So you have x's less than or equal to 2, and you have x's greater than 2. So what that means is when x values are less than 2, -1, 0, 1, then you're going to use this top part of the function. When x is greater than 2, you're going to use the bottom part of the function. When x is equal to 2, you're going to use the top part of the function because the equal to in the inequality. So the first thing you need to figure out, where does the graph switch? Okay, so the first thing is graph switches. All right, and the graph switches when x is equal to 2. We switch from one function to the next. Okay. The second thing you're going to do is then you're going to create points. Okay, you got to be able to create ordered pairs, and that's where the y equals mx plus b is going to come from, the x and y intercepts, or the t-charts. You have options. So what we're going to do is, the first thing is we got to figure out where we're going to switch, x equals 2. The second thing is we're going to create points. The first point that I would create is to take the value of x equals 2. And you're going to substitute it in, you're going to evaluate it into this function. So what we're going to do is we're going to take -2 and we're going to plug it into that top function. -2 times 2 minus 1. When you do that, you get -2 times 2, which is -4 minus 1. And when you do that, you get the value of -5. So what happens is your x value was 2, your y value is -5, which is an ordered pair. So when x is 2, y is -5. So we put that point on the graph. And notice how it's a closed circle. It's a closed circle because x can equal x can equal 2 for this function. Now the other thing that you do is you're going to create an ordered pair when x equals 2. You're going to plug it into the bottom equation. Okay? You're plugging this one into the bottom equation. Now, one of the things you're thinking is, well, I can't plug 2 into the bottom equation. You're right. Okay? I'm not supposed to. But what this is going to do is it's going to allow me to know where exactly this graph is going to be at when x equals 2. And then we put an open circle at that value. So this becomes -2 plus 4. -2 plus 4 is 2. So when x equals 2, y equals 2. So when x equals 2, y equals 2. What you do is you put an open circle right there. Then what you do is you can use t-charts, you can do all kinds of stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my slope and my y-intercept. Slope, you just need a starting point. Well, here I have a starting point from this one. Okay? Well, this is from the top equation, the blue line, and this slope is -2. But this blue line only exists left of -2. So we use the slope. We go down, or we can go up 2, left 1, up 2, left 1, up 2, left 1, and notice that is creating a line that is left of +2, using a slope of -2. Notice how this line is coming down and creating a slope of -2. I went up and left because I needed that left movement to get to the left side of 2. Now I'm going to do the slope on the right side, and I'm going to do that in red. My slope is -1. So from here, I want to move to the right, so I need to use the negative on the top part. So I go negative, +1, negative, +1, negative, +1, and then I get a line that looks something like this. Notice the open circle is for when x is greater than 2. The reason we do that is because x can be 2.1, and we need to show that the graph gets really, really, really close to 2, but not actually touches. So that's what the graph would look like in that situation. Okay, let's go to the next one. Right? This one has 3 pieces. So the first thing, find the switch. We have a switch at x equals -2, and we have a switch at x equals +2. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug 2, or -2, into this equation, and we're going to plug it into this equation because that's where it switches between those two. We're going to plug +2 into the middle equation, into the bottom equation, and then we're going to go from there. Okay? So I'm going to do the top equation in blue. I'll do the middle equation in red so you guys can see it, and then I'll do the bottom equation. I'll graph it in green, and I'll do all the work that way as well. So the top equation, I'm going to plug -2 into the top equation. So when x equals -2, y is going to equal -2. Okay? Then I'm going to do the middle equation. I'm going to plug -2 into the middle equation. And when I plug -2 into the middle equation, I get -2 minus 2. And when I plug that in, -2 and -2 is -4. So the y value equals -4. But I'm also going to plug +2 because that is where it switches on both of those. X equals +2. I plug that in, and I get y equals 0. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the green equation. I'm going to plug 2 into the green equation. And when I plug that in, I'm going to get -2 times 2 plus 4. -2 times 2 is -4 plus 4, and I get y equals 0. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and graph these. Okay, this top equation, I'm going to graph it. I'm not sure why I put -2 there. It should be -4 because that's what the y value is, -4. So when x equals -2, y equals -4, which would be right here. And since it's in the original inequality, x is less than or equal to -2, that means it should be a closed circle. And then as you go to the left, the slope here, there's no x value, so the slope is 0. So it's just going to be a horizontal line at -4. The y value is always going to be 4. The middle one, so I plug -2 in. So when x is -2, y is -4. So I have a point right there at -2, -4, okay, which is already there. I also have a point at 2, 0, which would be right here. Now I'd want to make an open circle right there. The reason it's an open circle is because I cannot equal that value, and then I just connect the dots. You only need 2 points of a line to connect the dots. And then the green one, I have x equals 2 and y equals 0. Well, y equals 0, x equals 2, y equals 0. That's the same spot. So I would fill that one in, and then I would use the slope of -2. Go down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1, as many times as you need, and your graph would look something like that. And that is graphing a piecewise function. Okay, let's do one more. So let's go over here and do number 5 because it has 3 equations. Okay, so I'm going to do the top one, blue, the middle one I'm going to do in red, and the bottom one I'm going to do in green. So again, I start with the top equation. My values where it switches to -2. The red one, it switches at x equals -2 and x equals 4. In the bottom equation, it switches at x equals 4. So I'm going to plug all those values in. So I plug -2 into the top equation. X equals -2, so I'm going to get -2 minus 1, which gives me a y value of -3. I plug -2 into the middle equation. 2 times -2 minus 1 would be -4 minus 1 would be -5. So y equals -5. Plug 4 in, so I'm going to get 8 minus 1, which would be y equals 7. And then if I do the green equation, I plug 4 into the green equation, I'm going to get -12 plus 8. So -3 times 4 plus 8, which would be -12 plus 8, which would be -4. So I get y value equals -4. So now I'm going to go back in and graph these points. My x value is -2, so I go -2, -3, so right here. And then since it's the domain part right here is x is less than or equal to -2, I put a closed circle because it can equal -2. Then I use the slope. What does this graph look like? The graph has a slope of 1. So from here, I could go up 1, right 1, or I could go down 1, left 1. And since the graph says x is less than -2, I need to go back to the left because x only exists when x is less than 2, to the left of that point. Then I go to the red section. I have x is -2 and y is -5. So when x is -2, y is -5. So -2, -5, and I would put an open circle right there. So I put that open circle right there, and then I go to y equals 4, or x equals 4, y equals 7, and I would put a closed circle right there, and then I would connect the points. Then do the same thing for x equals 4, y equals -4, x equals 4, y equals -4, and I would put an open circle right there because I cannot equal 4. It has to be open. And then my slope is -3, so I go down 1, down 2, down 3, right 1. Down 1, down 2, down 3, right 1, and put a graph in like so.